Hello Internet, welcome back to Cataclysm, our tutorial playthrough. We spent the last day or so getting our forge put together. Let's eat something. Again, trying to keep an eye on our weight. We're eating too much, so let's just eat some more lettuce. Where'd the lettuce go? Lettuce. Let's search for lettuce. I'm on a version of the game where it doesn't save what food you just ate. Normally if we go in the eat menu and we eat, say, this broccoli, it will refresh the menu and your tile will still be on the broccoli if there's more of it. So you can quickly eat a lot of the same thing. I'm on a version where if I eat the broccoli, it resets to the top of the menu. So that's been fixed as far as I know. But yeah, I'm still on an old version because they were supposed to be releasing 0.E, but that was like 4 months ago and it's still not here. But whatever, there's a lot going on in the world. I don't really blame them for that. We are tired. Let's wield our spear, because we have a spear now. Are we still wearing our headgear? Take off. We are still wearing our headgear. Let's go to bed, I guess. And hopefully we sleep through to the morning. It's only 5:30 p.m., but we haven't slept basically in about a full day. So I'm thinking we'll probably sleep for quite a while. Don't set the alarm. So what do we do? What do we do in this episode? We could continue working towards getting our welder, and we could talk about welders and why they're important. And what? Yeah, let's talk about welders. Okay, so there are a couple ways to weld in the game. Primarily, people use arc welders, which is arc welder is an electric welder. Is really all I know about it. I don't know anything about... My father's a welder, but I actually don't know anything about welding. So most people use arc welders because there's a recipe for the makeshift arc welder, which we have. It's in a book that we have. But there are also non-makeshift ones. You can find them in garages, in people's houses. It's probably very unlikely you would find them in a person's garage, but there are also like mechanic garages in the game. They're pretty common there. And then additionally, there are acetylene torches, which can be used for welding, I believe, and also for cutting metal and things. So there are a couple options available to you. Again, most of the time you will be using the makeshift arc welder because it's the one that's pretty craftable and pretty easily craftable, which is what we'll be using. Now there's also a vehicle welding setup. Once you I'm sure we have the recipe for it, but I'm sure it's not in our menu. Yeah, we don't have it in our menu. Welding tanks, I believe, are for acetylene torches, by the way. It requires basically the components of 2 makeshift arc welders, and then you make an intermediate item, I think, called the welding component kit. Then you make the vehicle welder. Then you install it in a vehicle, and once you do that, it will draw power directly from the vehicle's onboard batteries so that you don't have to replace batteries, because if we make a makeshift arc welder, we have to be putting batteries in it. It uses medium batteries, but there's also a mod called the battery compartment mod, I believe. We don't have it. I'm not sure if it's a mod or not. I hear people talk about it. It might be in the vanilla game, but it might be a mod, but people talk about it all the time, and it basically lets you install car batteries into your welder instead of using medium batteries. Because if we look at our battery pile, which for some reason has a CBM in it, because it's a battery system CBM, and I didn't set my filter to exclude CBMs, you'll see we only have 1 medium battery. That's a problem. A lot of vehicle work will eat up this battery very quickly, and we'll need a way to recharge it. Now, we actually found a way to recharge it. We found a vehicle up here with a recharging station in it. And that works by dropping batteries in it, and then the vehicle charges the batteries using its own internal batteries. So we have the means to do that, but that's a little annoying to have to walk out there every time we use a whole battery. So like we work on our vehicle, we'll probably only make 3 or 4 changes. The battery will be dead. We'll have to walk all the way up here, all the way out to the Humvee, drop it in the Humvee, turn on the recharger, probably turn on the engine to keep the batteries from going dead, wait for it to charge, okay, turn everything off, reload the battery, walk all the way back to base, work on our vehicle. So we would probably drive our vehicle up there if we were working on it, just to eliminate some of that tedious walking back and forth. But anyway, we want a welder. And we, again, would like to raise our electronics to do that because we don't want to risk losing components when we're making the welder. We are now out of a matchbook, so let's go ahead and dump our matchbook here. It's out of matches, and we'll grab a lighter or something. Lighter. No results. That's right, they would be tools, so they'll be on our tool pile. Light. I do prefer refillable lighters. You can refill them with gasoline, so we'll hang on to that. We'll mark that as favorited so we don't lose that somewhere. We don't need a lot of these tools. We are going to be reading, so we'll hang on to the MP3 player. I also don't really need the battery. We'll dump that on our battery pile. Go ahead and plug in your earbuds. Go ahead and start getting your mood up from listening to that. You'll see because we just woke up, our focus is 105, so we're going to be very capable of learning right now. We're down to normal weight. Well, good. We shifted from overweight to normal weight. I would like to make some hot dogs. The reason I'm making this is because if we look here, you'll see, oh, the bread's not going on. Well, eat the salad. Go ahead and eat this salad. No reason to let that go bad. We have all this bread. Bread only lasts like a week, so we kind of want to use up the bread. We mostly use up bread by making sandwiches and things like that. Alternatively, we have these hot dogs. We can just boil the hot dogs and eat them, but that's not very satisfying. What we could do is instead make a proper hot dog, which requires a bread component, a hot dog component, and then a condiment component. So I thought we would make a couple of those just to use up some of our perishable food items, because we're not just going to eat bread and eat raw hot dogs. We could do that. If you were min-maxing, you probably would do that, but I think that that's gross, and I wouldn't actually subject my character to doing that. So why would I do that? So we'll make campfire is the one that's literally, oh, it's not boiled, my mistake. It's literally you put it on a stick and hold it in the fire. But the cooked hot dog, you'll see, requires a hot dog, a bread component of some sort, some kind of condiment, and then water to cook the hot dog in. So we'll go ahead and make, how long do they last once they're cooked? 1 day. So we'll just make a couple of these, and they make one portion each. So it'll be, depending on the condiment we use and the type of bread, because we're using regular bread, it'll be relatively low calories. We'll probably use ketchup because ketchup goes bad, mustard doesn't. So we'll probably end up at like 200-ish calories. It only lasts for a day. Go ahead and make 3 of them. Sounds fine. Yeah, and use ketchup because it goes bad, and use the dirty water. And get rid of our spear. If we had a table here, we would stop getting prompted for... Yeah, see, we failed, and it like, again, this really bothers me about Cataclysm, and I'm going to keep complaining about it because I think it's a busted system in a lot of ways. If you don't have the skill required to make something, you have a chance to fail, but when you fail in nonsensical ways. So I was just boiling some hot dogs. I just lost 3 hot dogs for no reason other than we failed. We failed to craft the hot dogs. How do you mess up boiling a hot dog and putting it in a bun? It's absurd, and it's really frustrating that there's not an easy to craft flag that circumvents that system, because we literally just lost 3 hot dogs. If we go back to our eat menu and we look at our hot dogs, we're down to 4. We had 10, and to make 3 hot dogs, you know, it's just frustrating. So we did end up around 235 calories. We'll go ahead and eat all of these. We're sated, and let's have a drink as well. You'll see the mayonnaise and ketchup go bad, but the mustard does not go bad. My God, we have a lot of mustard, which makes sense. It's in everybody's kitchen, basically. And if you don't have mustard in your kitchen, I don't like you very much, because mustard is the best condiment. I do also like horseradish, but and wasabi, really. And, well, it doesn't matter. I like mustard. Mustard is my go-to. Oh, and soy sauce. Yes, excellent. Sure, take a swig of whiskey. That'll put you in a good mood. We'll have a little grape drink, and then we'll just drink some clean water. And we're no longer thirsty, but I'd like to be hydrated or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So, our focus is only 87. You remember it was 105. All we've done since then is craft, and we're a little hot. And so you can see pretty easily how you quickly lose focus in this game. Basically doing anything will lower your focus. Let's lose some of this stuff to just cool off a bit. Yeah, we definitely don't need to be wearing the scarf. I don't know why I'm still wearing the scarf. Go ahead and dump that. No, not the trench coat. We also, of course, don't want to continue wearing a fur trench coat. We just don't have any other good torso items. Now, we do have... Man, our head is encumbered. What's on our head? Oh, the noise-canceling headgear, of course. Okay, so we should be comfortable now, which means the warm effect will go away. Our focus is probably going to go back to going up, but it's not great. And we'll go back to reading... What's a transistor? We should be like 70% of the way there. Yeah, 74%. Once we get this level up, and again, the experience we just had with the hot dogs is why we're doing this right now. Because if we try to craft the welder right now, reading is taking a long time because it's too dark. So we want to read in the daylight where it's brighter. Reading in dim light slows down your progress. So that's part of the reason why that was taking so long. Just like the hot dogs where we lost hot dog components, if we try to make the welder, we could lose a ton of our electronics components. Even though we were 70% of the way to level 2, the game doesn't care about that. The game only cares about whether or not you have the level or not. So we can now make the arc welder without fear of failure. Oh, my stomach just gave me some problems. Hopefully that doesn't amount to anything. So make the arc welder. Now, in order to use the arc welder, we actually need a welding goggles as well, because if you tried, welding historically is bad for your eyes. You should not stare at a welder. So now we have a welder, which is an excellent tool that we definitely wanted. We'll keep that. No, we'll keep that in here on the tool pile. You know what? For now, we'll just carry it in our inventory. Go back to the steel spear. Turn off the MP3 player. We don't need this anymore. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Drop the MP3 player. Drop what's a transistor. And we'll keep the other gear on our person for the time being. We're hungry again. Let's just snack on something. We'll eat some more lettuce just to put something in our belly. And we'll eat some of this pesto because it has a fair bit of calories to it and it's going bad. I don't really care if the bird eggs go bad. You'll see we have 63 of them. There's no way we're going to be able to consume all of those before they go bad. This is going to be an ongoing thing. If we look at our food pile and search for rotten, you'll see quite a lot has gone rotten. It's just because we picked up a lot of perishable food and we weren't able to consume all of it at once. Not a big deal. So we want a medium battery for our welder. So we reload the welder and it puts our medium battery in there. You'll see, let's just, for example, look, oh, my stomach. Let's just look at a vehicle and see what it would cost us to install something. So let's say we were, I don't know, there's no good spot because this is like a really bad vehicle that's very small. But let's say we were trying to install, none of these are good examples. I don't know, armor plating. You'll see it requires 75 charges of a welder. So basically on our current welder, we could only install 5 pieces of armor. So we could only armor 5 tiles before we would need to reload our welder, recharge our battery. Frames are even more, I think. Install frame. If we go to just the standard, nope. Why don't I have, there it is, frame. This requires 150 charges, so we could only install 3 frames before needing to recharge our battery. So, because medium batteries are somewhat rare, it's usually a good idea to pick them up when you see them. They're very obvious because they have 500 charges, which are pretty easily noticeable. 90% of the batteries you'll find in the game will be light batteries and or light disposables, and you can see that reflected in our numbers here. In fact, I think we have more, so go ahead and sort out the loot. Apparently not. You'll see we have, 14, 15, 17, 21, 23 light batteries, and we only found 1 medium battery out of all those batteries we found, and then heavy batteries we've found none. My stomach's really turning on me. Okay, so we need, just try to push through. We need a welding goggles of some sort. These are, you can tell because it says glare protection. You need a glare protection of at least 2. I believe what are they called? They're here somewhere. The Eclipse glasses, I think, are 3 glare protection. So oftentimes you have to make your own. We could make a crude welding mask. All it requires... Oh, we have welding goggles somewhere? We've already picked up welding goggles, apparently. So welding goggles work. But we would, if we didn't find any, we would need to make our own. It's why earlier in the game I was talking about picking up sunglasses, because you can harvest them for tinted glass. Then all you need is safety goggles or some other goggles, and you can make your own. Alternatively, you can make the crude welding mask, but that actually requires welding goggles. So that's not really optimal. So apparently we have welding goggles somewhere. Let's go into our V menu and we'll search for weld. Pair of welding goggles to our west. Okay, so let's look for welding goggles. So we already have welding goggles, so we can just start welding. I'm going to be sick. Internet, unfortunately, so I think we're going to call the episode here. Yeah, for welding, you're going to need welding goggles. Even if it's installed in a vehicle as a welder, you still need welding goggles, so you should keep them nearby. There are lots of items in the game that qualify as welding goggles, like the firefighter PBA mask, for instance, is a good one if you clear out some firefighters and you just need some glare protection. You can do that. Sunglasses are not powerful enough, so you need proper welding goggles to be made from them. Yeah, it's going to do it. So, excuse me, sorry, sick again. It happens. What can you do? I'll be back with more Cataclysm tutorial content in the near future. See you next time.